Hey, I love me a good party, but all it takes is one turd to spoil the punch bowl. These are two films that deal with all kinds of social anxiety. One from the point of view of the guests unable to leave a party, the other about people who won't leave your party. Both delve into some extremely uncomfortable subject matters, and things slide into horror quickly and capably. This is M.L. Miller Frights Best in Horror Countdown 2021 through 2022. Counting down the best in horror films released from October 1st, 2021 through September 30th, 2022. According to me, M.L. Miller. Here we go. Number 20. Speak No Evil was released on August 15th, 2022. It's streaming on Shudder. It's directed by Christian Taftrup and written by Christian Taftrup and Mads Taftrup. After meeting a Dutch family on vacation in Italy, Bjorn, played by Morten Burien, Louise, played by Sidsel Siem Koch, and their daughter, Agnes, played by Leva Farsberg, are invited to take a vacation from their Danish home and visit Patrick, played by Frija van Huit, Karen, played by Karina Smulders, and their mute son, Abel, played by Marius Damslev, in their Dutch country home. Bjorn and his family immediately feel as if something is off when they arrive, but in order to avoid conflict and be polite, Bjorn and Louise ignore their initial feelings of discomfort and continue to stay in Patrick and Karen's home. But as things get more uncomfortable for Bjorn and Louise, the more they find themselves at the mercy of their hosts' increasingly bizarre and invasive demands. Speak No Evil is brilliant at how it places a seemingly normal family in a situation where the tension ratchets up so slowly that they don't even notice it. It's a frog boiling in water situation. While there are many signs that Bjorn and Louise should leave, it's clear that they don't want to be offensive and maintain social pleasantries. If viewed from outside, it's clear Bjorn and Karen should make tracks immediately, but writer-director Christian Taftrup and his co-writer Mads Taftrup throw the couple into situations where they could either be overreacting or they could actually be onto something. This tightrope is walked for quite some time. Are Patrick and Karen just eccentric, or are they consciously testing Bjorn and Louise to see how uncomfortable they can get before they break? It's not clear until the climax, but the trip there makes for some of the most uncomfortably dramatic moments I've experienced with a film. Speak No Evil seems to have a very nihilistic view of society and how much we will accommodate even if our instincts tell us to do the opposite. This societal view isn't a pretty one. Bjorn and Louise find themselves explaining why they are uncomfortable and having their points countered every time by their charismatic and overbearing hosts. I found myself screaming at the screen for every dumb move this couple does as they unknowingly get tangled more and more into Patrick and Karen's spiderweb. And the thing is, as it's explained late in the film, Bjorn and Louise did this to themselves. Most horror films are moralistic tales, teaching the viewer what not to do in situations that may result in danger, harm, or death. And though Patrick and Karen's actions seem harmless and possibly a result of two cultures that simply do not understand each other's nuances, it teaches the viewer, Bjorn and Louise, albeit a little too late, that one should always trust that feeling in your gut that something isn't right. Those natural instincts are worth listening to, and tamping them down and ignoring those feelings could mean life or death. By the end of this film, I was livid. Not at Patrick and Karen for doing the horrible things that they do, but at Bjorn and Louise for letting them do it. I hated Morten Burien's Bjorn at how weak he turned out to be. I loathed Sidsel Siem Koch's Louise for not fighting harder for her family. And if a movie can cause these strong emotions in me, it's got to be pretty good. Despite my utter feelings of anger and discomfort, I have to admit, Speak No Evil does a fantastic job of illustrating how the weak get dominated by the powerful over and over again. It's not a pretty message, but it's an important one that many could learn from. And while there is no way in hell I would handle the situations Bjorn and Louise find themselves in the way that they do, I understand why they do what they do and don't do what they don't do. But the way they reach their ultimate end is not the way I think I would handle it. Or maybe I would handle it that way. Having not been in that situation, I honestly don't know how I would react, and this movie makes you ask those soul-searing questions to yourself. And once you do, you just might not like the answer you come up with. Speak No Evil does a fantastic job of venturing deep into uncomfortable emotions that people don't want to talk about. It gets a whole lot right and takes its damn time getting to the horrifying final confrontation between these two families. This isn't a film you'll walk away from and not talk about. It's a dangerous film, reminiscent of other psychological mindfucks like The Killing of a Sacred Deer and Funny Games. The performances are as wonderful as they are infuriating. Patrick and Karen are predators that lure you in with a smile and a compliment. They are more dangerous because, unlike scaled, clawed beasts of modern myth, these are monsters that actually exist. Those who lack the patience to watch a deeply scarring psychological thriller should pass this one by. But the violent and heart-crushing final moments are some of the most horrifying stuff you're going to see and feel. If you're looking for a film that will dig deep under your skin, no matter how thick it is, Speak No Evil has an invitation for you. Just prepare yourself for a myriad of emotions and one sledgehammer of an ending. While not as painfully potent as Speak No Evil, Who Invited Them definitely would be a great double feature for those who enjoy wallowing in the discomfort. Who Invited Them was released on September 2nd, 2022. It's streaming on Shudder. It's directed and written by Duncan Birmingham. Celebrating their new extravagant home in the hills of what seems to be L.A., Adam, played by Ryan Hansen, and Margot, played by Melissa Tang, throw a party with all of their friends. Well, mostly Adam's friends. But once the party dies down, a pair of guests, Tom, played by Timothy Granaderos, and Sasha, played by Perry Matfeld, linger around the party after everyone leaves. Turns out neither Adam nor Margot know the couple, who reveal that they are neighbors who decided to crash the party. Feeling obligated to continue the festivities for their new neighbors, Adam and Margot become more comfortable and then less comfortable around their peculiar new house guests. Who are these two party crashers? I'm not telling, but it's a whole lot of fun finding out. Who Invited Them might be described as the invitation meets funny games and cheap thrills with a little bit of What About Bob thrown in. Quite the combination, huh? It plays around with a lot of themes involving one's need to fit in, the strengths and weaknesses of marriage, and of course the corruption of trust and family. Adam really wants to be the cool guy, as evidenced by how much he has put into a housewarming party celebrating his new move up in the social scale. This being a horror movie, something comes along and challenges Adam's needs, resulting in some terrifying moments. Adam's insecurity extends to his relationship with his wife, Margot, who used to be a guitarist in a rock and roll band, but was discouraged from pursuing that, seemingly to please Adam. This results in quite a bit of tension between Adam and Margot, and in the night that plays out in this film, it all comes to a head quite devilishly. The tension is played out both tragically and comically as the story goes on, as these two strangers seem to know just what to do and say to cause a rift between Adam and Margot. Ryan Hansen and Melissa Tang excel at playing a loving yet flawed couple, but most importantly, a likable couple. It's their flaws that make them so easy to care for, and with the mystery of who or what these two party crashers are lingering through a good portion of the movie, I felt the tension rising with each uncomfortable exchange between the four main characters. Henson plays dopey, but his intentions seem quite noble, if not somewhat archaic in the way he feels like he has to impress those around him in order to achieve happiness. Tang is great too as Margot, who has suppressed a lot of rage, and it comes out in a rather ugly and unflattering fashion, just like Ryan's insecurity. Both actors seem to have put a lot of thought into the complexities of the relationship between their roles. Adding the spice to this flick are the deceptively charming and alien-esque mannerisms of the party crashers, Timothy Granaderos as Tom and Perry Matfeld's Sasha. Granaderos' performance reminds me of the fake human charm Christian Bale performed so exquisitely in American Psycho. There's just something off behind those cold eyes and the all-too-smooth way he talks. While Sasha uses her feminine wiles to influence Adam and Margot, Mattfeld stands out as more than just eye candy, also hinting that there is something very dark underneath the surface. I was most impressed by the way Who Invited Them holds back in revealing just what kind of monsters Tom and Sasha are. The whole way through I was wondering when they would show their true colors, yet the marvelous script makes that anticipation fun to endure. There are a few times when you think the other shoe is going to drop, but it doesn't, and it makes the suspense of it all exquisitely enjoyable. Once we do find out the secret of the Party Crashers, it's a doozy, and everything explodes into a violent bloodbath. While I found one revelation that Margot makes near the climax to be a little too conveniently discovered, most of the film works like a charm. Even the ambiguous ending leaves you with a sense of harrowing dread, wondering just what horrors are happening as the credits roll. Overall, Who Invited Them is a tense thriller with phenomenal performances all around. It's a film with delicious secrets that are a blast to eventually uncover. As always, feel free to agree, disagree, or give me your own picks for your favorite horror movies. It's October, so let's talk horror. Come back tomorrow for the next level in the Best in Horror Countdown 2021 through 2022. Be sure to hit all of the pertinent bells and whistles down below, and you'll never miss a post. Happy Halloween, folks.